In the rotating machine, we have to study DC machine, then synchronous machine and induction machine. But before studying these three types of machine, we will first study some basic concept of rotating machine, which will be applicable to all kind of this. Any type of machine, either it is DC machine or synchronous machine or induction machine, it can be operated as generator or motor. So what we require in case of generator, suppose a machine is operating as generator, in the output we expect an electrical energy. If it is a generator, what we expect from generator, an electrical current. We expect generator to deliver electrical energy. So output will be electrical energy or electric current. But we know that any system cannot generate energy. A generator, although its name is generator, but any system or any machine cannot generate energy. Any system can, rather it can convert the energy from one form to another form. So normally in generator, we will give to get an electric current or electrical energy, we have to give mechanical energy. Normally we give mechanical. It is not necessarily we have to give mechanical energy, I mean, but before conversion to electrical energy, it is the energy is in mechanical form. It may come from another form also. Similarly, in case of motor, in the output what we expect mechanical energy. Motor is used to do a mechanical work. So in case of electric motor, we have to give electrical energy. So in the basic concept of rotating machine, in case of generator, okay, we will see how electric current can be produced with mechanical input. So to understand it, we will revise some basic concepts. Suppose there is a conductor, and if you want to produce current in this conductor, first of all, if it is a conductor, there will be free charges in this conductor. And how current will be produced? If there is flow of these charges in a particular direction, there is net flow of these charges, we will say that this conductor is carrying a current. Now if you want to generate current in this conductor, you will have to apply a force on the charges. Let's say these are positive charges, although in conductor the charges are in the form of free electron, and on the electron we have negative charges, but for the simplicity, let's say these are positive charges. So to produce current in this conductor, you will have to apply a force on this charge. Now if you are applying force on this charge in this direction, charges will not move, because this charge, the free electrons cannot leave the metal. The free electrons can move within the metal or within the conductor, but it cannot come out of the conductor. So if you are applying force on this on the charges in a perpendicular direction to its length, these charges will not flow. Instead, if you are applying force on the charges in upward direction, similarly on all the charges the force will be in upward direction, and we will say the whole conductor will move in upward direction. Charges cannot leave the conductor. So if you want to produce a current in this conductor, you will have to apply a force on the charge of conductor along its length. For production of current or to induced current, force should be along length of conductor. Length of conductor. Force should be along length of conductor, or we can say a component of force. A component of force should be along length of conductor. Then charges will move and we will say this conductor is carrying a current. If you will apply force on charge along perpendicular to its length, charges will not come out of the conductor. Instead, whole conductor will feel a net force in upward direction. So in this case, motoring action will take place. Charges will not move. Instead, you will have a mechanical force on the conductor. And if this conductor is put on a frame, the whole frame will feel a mechanical force. So this will be a motoring action. And here you will have electrical action, or you will have electrical current. Now the question is, from where the force will come? You would have studied one formula for force. Force is equal to, the vector force is equal to Q V cross B. So if you want, in the case of generator, force on charge should be along the length of conductor, and force is given by this formula, where Q is charge on conductor, V is relative velocity of charge, and B is magnetic field. So if you want to apply force on a charge, you will have to have charge. Obviously there will be a charge. Then you need relative velocity of charge with respect to magnetic field, and you need magnetic field. So first we will see how we can have a magnetic field. So magnetic field can be applied, or we can have magnetic field if you have a permanent magnet. Permanent magnet have its own magnetic field. Suppose in a permanent magnet, suppose this is a permanent magnet, and this is north pole and this is south pole. So what will be the direction of magnetic field? The magnetic field leaves from the north pole and it enters the south pole. Outside the material, it will enter from outside the material it will enter the south pole, and it will leave from the north pole. And inside, the direction will be, since the magnetic lines, the lines of magnetic field are always closed, so this will be the. So one way of getting magnetic field is having permanent magnet. Another way is we can produce magnetic field with the help of electromagnet. What is electromagnet? Suppose this is a magnetic material. What is a magnetic material? This we have already studied in transformer. Magnetic material have high permeability, and if you want a conductor on it and give a current to this conductor, so there will be an MMF. Suppose here we have current I, there will be an MMF Ni, and flux will be MMF divided by reluctance of this winding and core system. So to a soft iron material or to a magnetic material, if you wound it with a winding, it will also have a magnetic field. And the magnetic field, how we will find out the direction of magnetic field? This also we have studied in transformer, that the direction of magnetic field depends upon the current as well as orientation of winding. Suppose the first turn is from back side, and the direction of current is from right to left, so this current will make a clockwise loop, and if current makes clockwise loop, the direction of magnetic field will be, or the magnetic flux will be, from direction will be in downward direction. Since magnetic field is leaving from this point, so this will be north pole, and magnetic field, the magnetic field of this electromagnet is leaving from this electromagnet, so this will be north pole and this will be south pole. This magnetic field belongs to this electromagnet only. So based on this direction, north pole and south pole of this electromagnet will be decided only. What I am saying, that based on this direction of magnetic field, based on this direction of magnetic flux, we cannot decide north pole and south pole of another material. This magnetic field, or this direction of magnetic field belongs to this electromagnet only. So based on this direction, north pole and south pole of this electromagnet will be decided. With this direction, we cannot decide north pole and south pole of another material. The north pole and south pole of another material will be decided by its own magnetic field, not on the basis of this magnetic field. Okay, so this way we can have magnetic field. So suppose there is a magnetic field. Suppose this is the direction of magnetic field, and a positive charge is moving in right direction. Positive Q charge is moving in right direction. So what will be the direction of V cross B? V is in this direction and B is inside, and the direction of force is decided by V cross B. B is inside, so V cross B will be in upward direction. From right hand thumb rule, V cross B will be in upward direction. So direction of force will be in upward direction. So similarly, if this is the magnetic field, and you have a conductor here, so this conductor will obviously this conductor will contain large amount of free charges. Let's say these are positive charges, although in conductor there are free electrons. Let's say these are positive charges, and if conductor is given this a velocity in right direction, so V will be in right direction, B is inside, so all these charges will experience a force in upward direction, and if circuit is completed, there will be a current. But if the orientation of conductor is like this, and it is given a velocity in right direction, so again the charge on this conductor have a velocity in right direction, magnetic field is inside, so V cross B will be in upward direction. So all the charges will experience an upward force, but charges cannot leave its material. So in this case, current will not flow. So to apply force, we have B either by permanent magnet or by electromagnet. Now how can we have an initial velocity? We need to give an initial velocity to the conductor, or relative velocity between conductor and magnetic field. So what we will do, we will put this conductor on a frame. This conductor is put on a frame and the whole frame is rotated. In the machine, that part is called rotor. This conductor is put on a frame and whole frame is rotated. So along the frame, conductor will also rotate. We will have a how that is done, we will see it. The actual machine doesn't look like this, but just to explain the principle, I have made like this. The hash part is a magnetic material. Here we have hashed part. So these are magnetic material, and where I have not, and the plain part is air gap. So you can observe that I have made the least air gap here, and here the air gap is highest. Okay. Now this is the stator part. Here we have air gap, and this is the inner part is rotor. This looks like a circle, but actually this is a front view of cylinder. Like this is a cylinder, but you will, if you will see this cylinder from the front, you will feel that it is a circle. The front view of a cylinder will be a circle. And what is this? This is a slot on cylinder. Suppose this is a cylinder and this is a slot. So in this slot, winding can be a turn of winding can be housed. So if you will see from front, a hollow part will be seen. So this is a slot, as you can see in this cap. Okay, and this is a stator frame, and on this, suppose there is a winding. So by flowing current in proper direction, if a current will flow in this winding, there will be a magnetic field. So suppose this acts as a north pole and this acts as a south pole. I mean to say, the direction of current and orientation of winding is such that the direction of flux is downward direction. So if the direction of flux is in downward direction, obviously the magnetic line will leave the stator material here. So this part of a stator will be called north pole. This magnetic field is entering the rotor here. So what this part of rotor will be called? Will it be south pole or not? First of all, we will have to decide this magnetic field belongs to a stator or rotor. This magnetic field belongs to a stator. So with the direction of this magnetic field, north pole or south pole of stator will be decided, not the north pole of rotor. North pole or south pole of rotor will be decided. This is what I tried to explain earlier. This magnetic field belongs to a stator. So on the basis of direction of this magnetic field, the north pole and south pole of only a stator can be decided. So if the direction of magnetic field is in downward direction, here we will have north pole of stator, and on the basis of this magnetic field, neither north pole or south pole of rotor will be, south pole or north pole of rotor cannot be decided. Similarly, direction of current and orientation of winding on this part of a stator can be adjusted so as to get the direction of magnetic field in downward direction. So here the magnetic field is entering the material, so this will be south pole. So I'm drawing another diagram. So the magnetic field, the stator magnetic field will take this path, it will complete. Here it will feel a reluctance of air gap, here also it will feel reluctance of air gap, and since lines of magnetic field has to be closed lines, so it will travel through the magnetic material. Why it will travel through the magnetic material? Because the reluctance of magnetic material is minimum. If it will, even if it will try to flow through the air gap, the reluctance of air gap is very high, so the strength of flux of this line will be very less, so this can be neglected. Okay, so this will be, so the magnetic field lines will be like this. Here also we'll have this kind of line of magnetic field. So this will act as a north pole, this will act as a south pole, and this is a stator. In the machine, stationary part of the machine will be called stator, and there is a slot in the rotor. This is a cylinder, this is the front view of cylinder, and this is a conductor that has been put on the in the slots. Actually in a machine there are many windings, but just to explain the concept I have taken only one winding which has one turn. Okay, so we have the direction of magnetic field in downward direction. Now if this rotor is given a velocity in clockwise direction, so at this instant, the direction, what will be the direction of velocity of conductor? If it is rotating in clockwise direction, at any point the direction of velocity will be tangent to its periphery. So the direction of velocity of conductor will be in right direction. The velocity is in right direction. Okay, so what will be the direction of force on this conductor? What will be the direction of force on the charge of this conductor? This will be V cross B. So the V cross B will be inside the board. So a positive charge will experience a force inside the board. Similarly, on this part of conductor, what will be the velocity? The direction of velocity is, if the rotor is moving in clockwise direction, the direction of velocity of this conductor will be this. Here we have velocity in this direction, and the direction of magnetic field is in downward direction. So V cross B will be, okay, if you rotate the screw in anti-clockwise direction, screw will come out, so the direction will be from the board. So here a positive charge will experience a force in away from the board. Okay, and I'm showing this conductor is wound in this slot. So if in the lower part the positive charge experience a force in this direction, and in the upper part positive charge is experiencing a force in this direction, so overall there will be a force in anti-clockwise direction, so the charges will move. Suppose there is a conductor, this is the conductor. If on the upper part of charges the direction of force is in right direction, for the flow of current it is necessary that to the lower part of charges the direction of force must be in opposite direction, then only current can flow. If here the force on charge is in this direction, so we will say the direction of electromagnetic force is in this direction. So we will make a battery showing that it will try to move the charge in this direction. Similarly, here the force, direction of force is in this direction. So we will make a battery showing. So in this case only, if you apply KVL or if you move in this loop, these two voltage will add each other. If both these charges experience a force in the same direction, in this case the two voltages, the two generated voltages will be, or the two electromotive force will be in opposite direction. So in this case current cannot flow. So here a positive charge feel a force inside the board, and here a positive charge force of feels a force away from the board. So in this case current will, so if you complete this circuit with a resistance, a current will flow here. And what will be the direction of current? The charge will go inside, there the charge will go inside, and here charge will come outside. So this is the direction of current. So we observe that if the rotor is rotated in clockwise direction, it has given by applying a mechanic, how it will be rotated in clockwise direction, with the application of mechanical force. With the application of mechanical force, it was rotated in clockwise direction, and in the result what we have a current in anti-clockwise direction. Now if this rotor has a current, due to this current there will be an MMF. Let's say if I have only one turn, so due to current in the turn there will be an MMF, and due to MMF there will be a flux. So what will be the direction of flux? Current is making, if we see from this direction, the current is making an anti-clockwise loop. So due to this loop, the direction of flux will be in this direction. Current is entering and leaving from here. So the direction of rotor flux will be, this will be the direction of rotor flux. And what is the direction of stator flux? A stator magnetic field, this is in this direction. This is a stator flux or a stator magnetic field, and this is rotor magnetic field. Okay. So before talking about direction of field and north pole and south pole, there is one question. Suppose you applied a mechanical torque and you have given a clockwise speed to a rotor, and let's say omega is the angular velocity, and after giving this speed you have disconnected it, means you are not applying any force. Before that, let's say you have applied a torque T, and if it is rotating with omega, what mechanical power you are giving as an input? T into omega will be input mechanical power. Now if you are not giving any torque and it is rotating with speed omega, you are not giving any mechanical energy. Okay, and if it is rotating with speed of omega, there will be a relative motion between magnetic field and charges on conductor. So there will be a current, and if there is a current, it has some resistance. The electrical power will be I square into R. If it is rotating with constant speed, you will get an electrical power of I square into R. And after giving some speed, you have disconnected it from the mechanical input. So you are not giving any mechanical energy, yet you are getting an electrical energy. So this is violation of conservation of energy. I am repeating it. Suppose there is no friction in this part, so after giving an initial speed of omega, you have disconnected it from mechanical load, so mechanical power is 0. You are not giving any mechanical power, you have given an initial speed of omega. And if it has a speed, this will rotate, and if it will rotate, there will be a current in this conductor, and if there is a current, you will have an electrical power. So without giving any mechanical power, how can we have electrical power? This is not possible. So if it is not possible, we can say it will not rotate. So if it will not rotate, it was given an electrical initial speed of omega, so there has to be some opposing torque. So now we will see how that opposing torque will be produced. So this was the direction of magnetic field of stator magnetic field, and this is direction of rotor magnetic field, which is generated due to the current in rotor winding. I am drawing it again. This is north pole and this is south pole of stator. The direction of rotor magnetic field is in this direction. So from rotor magnetic field, the north pole and south pole of rotor can be found out. So the rotor magnetic field is leaving from this point, so this will be north pole of rotor and this will be south pole of rotor. This is north pole of stator and this is south pole of stator. So we have north pole and south pole configuration. Please remember, the initial mechanical speed was given in clockwise direction. The initial mechanical speed omega was given in clockwise direction. Now we know that north pole, the same pole repels each other and opposite poles attracts each other. So with the generation of north pole and south pole in the rotor, if we analyze force on rotor, since stator will not be moving, so we will not consider force on stator part. Rotor is moving part, so we will consider force or torque on rotor part. So this north pole of stator will repel this north pole of rotor. So on this part there will be a torque in anti-clockwise direction. This north pole will repel this north pole. This south pole will attract this north pole, so this torque will also be in anti-clockwise direction. What will happen to this south pole of rotor? This south pole of stator will repel this south pole of rotor. So here also we have a anti-clockwise torque, and this north pole of stator will attract south pole of rotor. So if you will add all these torques, we will have a net torque in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction. So if there is a torque in anti-clockwise direction, what was the initial speed? The initial speed was omega in clockwise direction, and due to induction of current or production of magnetic field, we have electrical torque. This torque will be called electrical torque. This is in anti-clockwise direction. So if this torque is opposite to speed, so after some time this rotor will stop rotating. After giving an initial speed of omega, if you disconnect it from mechanical torque, if you are not giving any mechanical input, but electrical torque will be present as long as current is flowing in this conductor. There will be production of north pole and south pole. So there will be an electrical torque which will oppose the speed of rotor. So after some time the rotor will stop rotating, despite of the fact there is no friction. We have already assumed there is no friction, but the still rotor will stop rotating due to this electrical torque. Suppose you want this rotor to rotate at constant speed. Suppose you have given an initial speed of omega and you want this rotor to rotate with a constant speed of omega. So if speed is constant, the net torque on the rotor should be 0. But you have an opposing electrical torque, you have to make net torque 0. So you will have to apply a mechanical torque that must be equal to opposing electrical torque. So you are applying a mechanical torque from mechanical input and it is rotating with a speed of omega. So what will be the mechanical input power? Mechanical input power will be T mechanical into omega, and T mechanical is equal to, this is just to cancel the electrical torque, electrical into omega. So this is the input power, and what is output power? Output power will be I electrical power. Instead of writing I square R, I will write it as electrical power plus there will be some friction and there will be some losses. So this way the conservation of energy is. In this case we have considered that this south pole and north pole are fixed and this part is rotating. This is also possible that this part is fixed and north pole and south poles are rotating. So in that case what will happen? In this configuration, what will be the direction of magnetic field? The magnetic direction of magnetic field is in downward direction. Let's say this north pole and south pole is rotated clockwise. So this can also be viewed as that north pole and south poles are stationary and relative to north pole and south pole this frame is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. The actual case is this part is stationary and north pole and south pole are rotating in clockwise direction. This can be viewed as if poles are stationary and relative to poles the rotor frame is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. So in this case magnetic field is in downward direction and here the conductor has, at this point the conductor will have a velocity in this direction. This is B, this is B, and accordingly force on positive charge can be calculated and we will have the direction of current, and we can do all these exercise in this case also. We studied that if this is north pole, south pole, and if this rotor is given a clockwise speed, this will be the direction of current, and due to this current the rotor magnetic field will be in this direction. So this will, here we will have a pole, this will be a north pole of rotor and this will be south pole of rotor. This part is rotating. This is the flux or MMF of rotor part. The torque on rotor part is in anti-clockwise direction. So if rotor will rotate in anti-clockwise direction, this field will also rotate in anti-clockwise direction. I mean, you can assume that there is a torque in anti-clockwise direction to this field. So in some case this is north pole and south pole configuration is convenient to find out torque on rotor, or you can also view it as these two fields try to align themselves. Suppose this is a fixed field, then what is the direction of torque on this field? This is in anti-clockwise direction. the two fields try to align themselves in the same direction. Okay. So if these two fields will align, there will be no torque. If there is no electrical torque, suppose there is no electrical torque, suppose you have to run the rotor with a constant speed and there is no opposing torque. If there is no opposing torque, so to balance it, there will be no mechanical torque, or the input mechanical torque will be 0. If input mechanical torque is 0, the input power will be 0. If you are not giving any input, you will not get output power. So if you want to get more output power, what you will want? More opposing torque, so that you can apply more more mechanical torque, and the input power will be high, and accordingly output power will also be high. Now, with the help of pole configuration, north and south pole configuration, we concluded that the two fields try to align themselves. Now, if there is a torque, when these two fields will align in the same direction, there will be no electrical torque. If you want constant output power, you will have to apply constant input power. If you want non-zero or high value of constant output power, you will have to apply non-zero constant input power. For that, you need to apply constant mechanical torque into speed with which the rotor is rotating. So this is the case of a steady state. In a steady state, speed is constant, electrical torque is constant, and the same value of mechanical torque is constant. So if you want constant electrical torque, the gap between the direction of a stator magnetic field and rotor magnetic field, this gap or this angle must be fixed. In fact, the electrical torque is directly proportional to a strength of stator magnetic field, directly proportional to the strength of rotor magnetic field, and directly proportional to sine of angle between stator magnetic field and rotor magnetic field. So if you want to get constant output power, you will have to apply constant mechanical torque, and this is equal to constant electrical torque. So in a steady state, the electrical torque must be constant. To make it constant, the angle between a stator magnetic field and rotor magnetic field must be constant. But if only rotor is rotating, this part will be rotating and this part is fixed, then phi will not be constant. So what do we want? The stator magnetic field, this has also to be rotated with the same speed as the speed of rotor. So if rotor is rotating, or if rotor magnetic field is rotating, the stator magnetic field has to be, this also has to be rotated with the same speed to maintain the constant angle between these two fields. Now we have to produce, we need rotating stator magnetic field. So in the next lecture, we will see how we can produce rotating stator magnetic field with the help of three-phase winding. If a three-phase winding which are a space displaced by 120 degree, and if this winding is given a balanced three-phase supply, despite of without rotating these three windings will be stationary, and if you have given this winding with a balanced three-phase supply, the overall magnetic field due to these three winding will be rotating. So how we can get this type, and what will be the speed of rotation, or what will be the direction of rotation, this we will see in the next lecture.